Hello, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm John F. Harrison, your host, and I'm happy you're joining us. It's Christmas season, and for some of us, that means an overdose of Christmas carols. Now, I don't mean the spiritual ones that, celebrate the incarnation. Silent Night, O Little Town of Bethlehem, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, Hark the Herald Angels Sings. Those are great. I never get tired of those. In fact, if you can read the lyrics to Hark the Herald Angels Sing and not want to get happy and shout just a little bit, we need to have a talk. Those songs are all great. But no, I'm talking about the more child-oriented songs that play constantly. Jingle Bells, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. All of those things that they play in all the stores, they are streaming on some radio stations 24/7. You hear them at the gas pump when you're filling up your car. I spent 45 minutes in the barber shop the other day and had a constant stream of those sort of things. And sometimes they do, maybe grate just a little bit. But this episode of The Bottom Line is done with a nod to one of those traditional secular Christmas carols, the 12 Days of Christmas. We're going to talk about the 12 Days of Finance, or a great to-do list for you as the end of the year approaches. So the 12 Days of Finance, that's coming up right after this short break.
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Welcome back, and we are talking about the 12 Days of Finance, with minor apologies to the traditional song, the 12 Days of Christmas. This is a list of 12 things, financial things, that you can be thinking of and taking care of, checking off your to-do list as the end of the year approaches. So we're going to structure it just like the song, with a minor adjustment. For instance, day one, on the first day of Christmas, my planner said to me, review all your beneficiaries. And that's an important one because it's one of those things that we typically neglect to do as time goes by. And maybe, for instance, you got your job out of college, you signed up for a 401k, you're a single person, you made your beneficiary your mother, and never got around to changing it. It's a good thing to review that every year. Maybe beneficiary is someone that you no longer have a good relationship with. You're estranged from this person, and they are still the beneficiary of your life insurance policies and your retirement plans and things like that. It's a good idea. I've even run into people whose beneficiaries have predeceased them, and so now the intended beneficiary has already gone, and they've never named another one. And it creates complications when it ends up simply going to your estate because there's no named beneficiary. That's generally not a good thing. So on the first day of Christmas, my planner said to me, review all your beneficiaries and make sure that they're up to date in the way you want them to be. On the second day of Christmas, my planner said to me, check your credit score and review all your beneficiaries. Everybody gets a free credit report by law once per year from each of the three major bureaus. All you have to do is ask for it. They won't send it to you automatically. But you can go to the websites of Experian or TransUnion or Equifax, all three of them, and request a free credit report once a year. And that's a good thing to do, just to make sure there's nothing on your report that doesn't belong to you. just to make sure there is nothing that is misreported. Mistakes do happen and can lower your credit score. So you can take steps to start to remove things that shouldn't be there, or correct records that are there improperly, or things that have been there too long. You can take steps about that. Now, getting your credit report does not automatically get you your FICO score. There are two separate things. There are lots of ways to track your FICO score, and be aware that many of your credit cards offer that as a free service. They will track your FICO. It's not always the same version of FICO that lenders such as banks use. So if you're seeing something called a Vantage score or anything else like that on your credit cards, make sure you check your FICO score once a year. It affects how much you pay for borrowed money, whether you're financing a car, not that I'm in favor of that, or you're going for a mortgage, or in some states, what you pay for insurance is all impacted by your FICO score. So make sure that you know what yours is. That way you can understand what any credit you need to obtain will cost you. You'll know whether or not you're ready. If you need to move and relocate, you're going to have whether or not you're going to have difficulties with leases, mortgages, and things of that nature. So on the third day of Christmas, my planner said to me, rebalance. Check your credit score and review all your beneficiaries. Rebalancing is what you do with your investment accounts to get them back to the proportionate asset allocation you originally had and originally wanted. Here's what I mean. Let's say, for instance, that you opened an investment account, or you structured your 401k such that it would be 60% stocks and 35% bonds and 5% cash. Well, a year goes by. Maybe the stocks rose 30%. That wasn't 2022. 2022 has been the worst year for stock performance in a very long time, but maybe they fell 18, 20%. Well, at the end of the year, the percentage that you started with has changed. It's no longer 60, 35, 5. It might be 40% stocks and a greater percent bonds, and so on and so forth. So rebalancing is simply moving money so you go back to your original allocation. It's a conservative way to manage money, and it is the exact opposite of what most people do. Most people chase last year's performance. So if one category did really, really well, then people will want to throw more money at that and take money from the thing that did the most poorly. But the trick with investing over time is buy low, sell high. So rebalancing means you actually move money from the things that are now greatly appreciated, i.e. you sell them high, and you put money into the things that didn't do as well or maybe even depreciated. You're buying low. It's counterintuitive, but it is exactly the thing to do to keep yourself on track. If you don't ever rebalance, then you're simply playing out a bet that what has happened over the past year or two is what will happen going forward. That almost never works to anyone's advantage. So rebalance, and the time between Christmas and New Year's is often an ideal time to do that, because it's just sort of the reviewing of the past year and the setting of goals for the next one. It's a natural time. You're doing all those once a year kind of things. Rebalance. Number 4, I hope you're writing all these down. Keep the list. On the 4th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, spend FSA funds. Rebalance, check your credit score, and review all your beneficiaries. Spend FSA funds. If you have a flexible spending account associated with your employer benefit, that's what I mean by FSA, flexible spending account, then that will contain dollars you set aside on a pre-tax basis for certain kinds of expenses, such as health care, dental care, things of that nature. And you will have in that FSA use it or lose it amounts. In other words, your balance does not carry over from calendar year to calendar year, but any money in the account that has not been spent is forfeited. So maybe there's some procedures you've been putting off. You needed to get a crown for a tooth, or you needed to get you're going to get LASIK surgery for vision, or maybe your doctor prescribed an expensive drug that you need to start taking. Make sure that you spent down the money in a flexible spending account by year end, so you don't have a couple $100 that just sort of vanishes because it was forfeited at year end. Spend FSA funds between now and the 31st of December. On the 5th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, buy my first book. Making Mammon Serve You was the first book that I published. I've since published a second one, a novel, and have a third one that is due to be finished by the end of this year. But Making Mammon Serve You covers all the kinds of things that we talk about on this show, and covers them in much greater detail than we can do any subject in a 30-minute time frame. So it, just to give you a brief idea, covers things as why money matters to Christians, and why we should concern ourselves with good financial management, how to set your financial vision and goals, how to go from dreaming to doing, what steps to take and in what order, where do you start when you're trying to get ahead, figuring out what your assets and liabilities look like, figuring out what your cash flow looks like, putting all those things in order that protect you so that you can concentrate on hitting your goals, getting income lined up, getting income protection lined up. Debt management, debt reduction, debt elimination is all there. Investments 101, the basics of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Investments 201, alternative investments and more sophisticated things. You can take it with you as a chapter on charitable giving and how that works on earth and how it counts in heaven. All of these things, putting together your financial dream team. There's even a financial 10 commandments that the book starts and ends with. So Making Mammon Serve You, if you don't have it, is a good Christmas present for yourself and or someone that you care about and that they do financially well. You can get it at Amazon, or you can walk into any brick and mortar bookstore and order it. Making Mammon Serve You, a biblical manual for money mastery. And that's the request for day 5. Buy that book, you'll be glad that you did. And if you stick out to the end here, I will tell you a way where you can get yourself a copy absolutely free, just for having a little fun with us at the end of today's episode. So stay tuned for information about that. In fact, that's a perfect place for us to pause. We're going to take care of a little bit of business and come back in about a minute and continue our list of the 12 things to do for the 12 days of finance. Hang on, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about the 12 days of finance, and we've gotten to number 6. This is your 12-item to-do list, things to take care of financially at the end of the year. Between Christmas and New Year's is ideal. So on the 6th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, harvest your tax losses. Now remember, we're basing this on the song, the carol, the 12 Days of Christmas. So you can count backwards through all the steps so far. Day 6 is harvest your tax loss. Day 5 is buy my first book. Spend FSA funds, rebalance, check your credit score, and review all your beneficiaries. That's how this is going together here. So day 6 is harvest your tax loss. If you've got investments that lost money in 2022, and if you don't have investments that lost money in 2022, you're doing better than most people. You can congratulate yourself. But if you have investments in taxable accounts. I'm not talking about inside your traditional IRA or inside your 401k, but if you have investments in taxable accounts that lost money and you're going to bail out on them, a lot of people have bailed out on cryptocurrencies, for instance, and things, ETFs that are tied into cryptocurrencies. If you sell them during the calendar year at a loss, that's a tax deductible loss. Now, there's a couple of ways that it works. If it's a short-term loss, i.e. you held the investment less than 12 months, then it is deductible. It can be used to offset your short-term gains. If it's a long-term loss, you held it longer than 12 months and then sold at a loss, it can be used to offset taxable long-term gains. So it reduces your tax bill by reducing the tax you would otherwise pay on taxable gains. And if you don't have any taxable gains to offset, the tax losses can carry forward year to year so that they eventually become of value to you. So think about which investments you want to hold and wait to recover, and which investments it's time to cut your losses on, harvest your tax losses, and create some tax savings. On the 7th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, catch up contributions. If you're contributing to a retirement plan, such as a company plan, a 401k or 403b, things of that nature, or your personal IRA, you have an annual contribution limit, but that limit depends on your age. If you are 50 and older, the assumption is most people didn't start maxing out their plans the day they first got a job at 21. So there is built into the tax law the ability to make catch-up contributions. In other words, contributions above and beyond the annual maximum. And so if you are maxing out your plan contributions, number one, congratulations, that's a great thing. But remember that you can make catch-up contributions. The amounts vary depending on the kind of plan that it is. It's smaller for an IRA than it is for a 401k, for instance. But you can make contributions to all of those plans greater than the annual maximum because of catch-up contributions. This is a good time of year to decide if you want to do one of those. On the 8th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, create deductions. Always more tax deductions can be a good thing, and one of them is charitable giving. You might want to accelerate your charitable giving, especially if you found yourself in a higher tax bracket this year than you used to be, or a higher bracket than you want to be in. If you're close to the edge of a bracket, maybe you can bring your tax bill down by accelerating a charitable contribution that you normally would make in the first quarter of the coming year and doing it now. So accelerate deductions, and contrary, you can delay income, defer income into the following calendar year to keep the tax bill down. These are all strategies to think of and to take a peek at before the year passes you by and the door of opportunity closes. On the 9th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, double check withholding. You filled out a W-4 form at your employer to tell them how much money to withhold from your paycheck for federal and state taxes. Has your need for withholding changed? Has a dependent child grown up and moved out of the house? Have you had a new child or adopted a child? Did you greatly over withhold last year? In other words, you got a $6,000 tax refund. You're over withholding in the sense that you could increase the number of exemptions on your W-4, reduce the amount withheld for taxes, and instantly increase your take-home pay now. That gives you the money to do something with on a month-to-month basis rather than simply waiting for the IRS to refund a bunch of your overpaid taxes, well into the following calendar year. And then, you don't get any interest on that money that has been withheld. It's just better to withhold the proper amount than too much. So double check withholding. The tax brackets are being adjusted this year. The IRS for 2023 is bumping the brackets to account for inflation. So make sure, based on your income, that you know what bracket you're in, and if need be, adjust your withholding. That can put some extra money in your pocket. On the 10th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, redo your budget. Inflation has been a big story in 2022, and I bet it's safe to say you are paying more for groceries than you were 2 years ago. You are paying more for gasoline than you were 2 years ago. You're paying more for heating oil. You're paying more for your electric bill. If you're not already, you will be soon. All the utilities are raising their prices to account for their increased costs, and so on and so forth. So your utility bill has gone up. Your food bill has gone up. If you're a renter, maybe that has gone up. And so go back and look at your budget again and see if there are adjustments you want to make, because your basic budgetary priorities are always save something first. Some portion of every dollar you make is yours to keep. And then, pay your essential expenses. Make sure that things are going where you want them to go. Make sure that this recent run of inflation hasn't knocked your budget all out of whack. Make sure that you're happy with what dollars are going where and that it's accomplishing what it needs to do. Maybe you need to cut some things from the budget to make room for the things that have suddenly gone up in price. All those streaming channels might not be necessary. So do that budget work. Item 11, on the 11th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, build your cash cushion. Inflation may have eaten into it, and Christmas shopping may have eaten into it. Make sure you still have that at least 3 months worth of bills in cash. If you are employed in steady employment, if you're self-employed, make it 6, and that'll keep you in good stead. And finally, on the 12th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, tell your advisors when things change in your life. You've moved, you have a change of address, you've adopted a child, you've decided to go back to college, you're set to buy a house, all these things that impact your finances. It's funny how often the planner finds out about them too late to give pertinent and relative advice. I have people call me and say, I've decided to sell this asset, or I've decided to buy this, and my thought was, if we had been able to talk about it before you pulled the trigger, you might have done it in a different way that benefited you more financially. So keep your advisors, your financial planner, your accountant, your attorney, if you have one, advised of major steps you plan to take so that they can, earn their keep and give you the advice that you need. So here's the thing. I mentioned that step 5 in the list was buy my first book. I'm feeling kind of festive today, so what I've decided to do is give you a chance to get one as a Christmas present on me, free. Yes, I am in fact wearing a silly Christmas hat. And what you need to do to get your free book is you need to call my office and give me this list back on my voicemail. The second person who calls and can sing this like the carol will get a book sent to them at absolutely no cost. So you're going to get on the phone and you're going to say, on the 12th day of Christmas, my planner said to me, tell your advisors, build your cash cushion, redo your budget, double check withholding, create deductions, cash contributions, buy my first book. Spend FSA funds, rebalance, check your credit score, and review all your beneficiaries. If you have the nerve to be as silly as I just was, do that on my voicemail at 978-775-5435, and I'll send you a signed copy of the book for free just because you've earned it. And so there's your list of 12 things to do. When we come back, I'll say a final word to people, one about the original song that this show was based on, and a good word for some people who may find the holiday time a little depressing, a little stressing. I got an idea for you too. That'll be worth sticking around for. We're going to step away and pay some bills and come back in just a minute. just want to give you some interesting facts as we leave and finish this episode. The original song, 12 Days of Christmas, is over 1,000 years old. It celebrates some things that began in the Middle Ages, but the version that we sing today dates back to about 1909. There are 364 gifts given in the song, because you get, one partridge in a pear tree for 12 days, and then you get 2 turtle doves for each of 11 days, and so on and so forth. If you add all those gifts up, 364 gifts given, you might think, that's expensive, and it is. The PNC Bank Wealth Management Division does an annual recalculation of the Christmas Gift Price Index, and they conclude that in 2022, the cost of all the items in this song is $197,071.09. I find that pretty interesting. But I'm going to say this last word to those of you who may find this festive time of year maybe a little bit stressful. All the get-togethers, all the celebrations, all the music. Maybe you're not as happy as you'd like to be. Remember the real meaning of the season. And here's my cure. Whenever you're not feeling happy, Google the lyrics to Hark the Herald Angels Sing and just read them to yourself. I promise you it will refocus you, recenter you, and it will be awfully hard to be unhappy in the holiday season when you think about what those lyrics say. So with that, I and all of us here at NECTN want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be blessed at Christmas time and in the year to come. And we will look forward to seeing you on our next episode. And that's the bottom.
So my journey of becoming a homeowner. And I reached out to my agent, which is Mark Sinclair.
It was on the first day that we went on the showing. We saw 2 houses. It was the first one. There was tons of people in the line. Second one.
This house, when I came, the line was really down the street.
She said, Mark, this is the house that I want. Get me that house. It's a seller's market. Within the seller's market, then there are a lot of tricks that they have to use as an agent, specifically knowing the limitations of your buyers. Although we were the second highest offer, we ended up on top because of everything else that came along with the offer.
The first day walking in this house, and then I had my key going in. It feels good. If you are looking for someone to help you sell your house and buy a house, don't hesitate to just call Mark Sinclair. Thank you.